Okay, in this tutorial, I'd like to show you how to read information from a point cloud of producing Houdini and use that for shading. So I'm gonna drag and drop my instances, my point cloud, sorry. So here is a tiny point cloud with a couple of points in the cloud, surprisingly. First of all, I'm gonna diagnostic the channel I've got on this point cloud to be sure that everything is working. So I'm gonna go to preferences, local settings, preferences, local settings, and going to rendering, login diagnostic. I've got the microphone in front of me sometimes, so and diagnostic and diagnostic shape. So that's how I'm gonna be able to have a look and be sure that what channel I've got access and what I've baked from my Houdini scene. So I'm gonna trigger render. I don't care if I've got any light or not, and Guerilla is gonna print all the channel I've got access for. So I've got a couple of ones where it's basic position, velocity, or other attributes. And the two one I wanna use, it's the scale one and the ID one. Scale one is information I bake from to give size of object I'm gonna instantiate on point cloud, and ID, it's an identification per point to group a point with this identification. So first of all, I'm gonna create a simple instances system. I'm gonna connect the instances, and I'm gonna switch to live scene graph, drag and drop my group of point cloud and directly into the scalp input, and I'm gonna create cubes. Well, a cube, but it's gonna be a couple of cubes, and a light, and that's my setup. And I'm gonna remove the point cloud from the rendering, so I'm gonna create an attribute, and I'm gonna hidden my point cloud into the rendering. So right now I've got only cube instantiate on the point of the point. I'm gonna extract information from a point to drive the size of the cube. I'm gonna create a material override, and what channel is driving my procedural is gonna be the length channel. So I'm gonna pick the length word with a capital L. It's a float. Perfect, and I'm gonna create a primitive attribute which is prim attitator, so it's reading the primitive attribute. And the channel I wanna read, it's scale, because it's just right there, scale with lowercase. Beam. So that's it, information is read. I'm gonna go to my interactive session, so that's it. What I want to do right now, it's use my identification, my ID, which is not unique. There is a couple of instances share is the same ID. So I want to use these IDs to use a set of texture to group, saying that all the objects with the same ID got the same texture. I'm going to use a texture switch and create surface, and I'm going to use a texture switch. So right there, okay, texture switch, that's it. But the issue is it's the cubes don't have any identification on them, so I need to transmit the identification from the point cloud to my instances. What I need, it's going to the procedural node to attributes and say that I wanna add an extra channel transmit to the instances. So I wanna transfer the channel ID with a capital I to my instances. So right now, my ID on my point cloud is gonna be transferred into the procedural instances and going back to the cubes so they can read these attributes linked on the point cloud that generate them. And what I want to do is say that my texture switch is gonna read this information, which is ID with a capital I, and I already prepare a couple of textures. So here it goes. I'm gonna copy past. Missed. That's a big fail. Okay, going back to my. Okay. I know that I've got some issues for. Yeah, I've got extra characters. Okay, let's a little bit of cleaning up. So right now, what's saying that it said that when Guerilla is reading the ID with capital I, number 0 is gonna read the first texture, but if I'm having a look at the console right there, it's saying that the first ID, the minimum, so the first one is going to be 158 and the last one is going to be 178. So that's not my case. So what I need to do is offset the information. So I want to offset from 158 things. So 158 minus 158 is going to be 0, so it's going to be the first line. So the other ID 159 is gonna be minus 158, so it's gonna be indexes 1. Indexes 1 is gonna be the second one, and that's it, going. So let's trigger render, and that's it. My identification may be 158. It's gonna be the first one, like the tiny red cube I've got right now. So let's trigger. Start again the I've got issue with my pivot. That's just because my scene is really small. So let's create bigger cubes. So as you can see, it's reading the texture and grouping them and directly giving the right texture to the right group. That's how I can work to create identification to my point cloud and giving the precise texture I want to get for the precise object.